So from my own angle, I didn't see this guy. I didn't even see his radar. I did not even notice anything about him, to be honest, until... So today we're going to be talking about how we met. So we had a video about this on our page before, but we said let us add some new insights and some better gist.
Some spice.
Yeah, let's spice it up.
Authentic spice.
Yeah. So we're going to be going from, so that we'll not break the screen. No, come on, argue, but no, it's not like that. You will be going first, then I would also say from my point of view because some of these stories are working hard up. Me, I would say I saw you first at Mami Market. You will say so you go first.
So I think for me, I think the way I want to put it was, in terms of how we met, I'd say it was very interesting because it was unexpected, obviously, right? And it was at a time when the expectations was clearly not about relationship, right? So I think the first time I saw was in NYC camp in, I think it was late 2015. I think it was probably November 2015. And there was this very, in quote, this beautiful girl, literally maybe talk of the town everywhere. Based on my perspective, I just felt like she was literally, adding value everywhere. She was in drama, she was here, she was there. If anybody needed help, she was kind of like
value is good.
For one reason or the other, she was just in my gaze, right? So I just registered, this person in my mind,
your eye.
and I, moved on with my other activities because I was in the prayer unit. So I moved on with other activities, doing the things I required to do. So I think it was now a few days after that I was in an interview session, and she was the person that we're interviewing. And to be honest, I really didn't want to be add to that conversation. I just, because we knew what we wanted to ask and all that. So they were asking the questions, and it was fine. It was going all smooth until I think one of my colleagues asked a question, and the question was something around, have you ever been late to a meeting while you were an ESCO in your previous place? And she said no. And that piqued my interest, as far as Niger boy now. And I'm like,
Niger blood in you that is always making you late to everything. It's not everybody that must be like you. But
no,
that's
not the point. That's not the idea. That's not the idea. But the point is, it just felt strange, right?
Yeah.
It felt out of the waters that, wait, are you telling me that you served there for 1 year and you didn't go late at any point?
Our special about you now. In it.
So that piqued my interest, and I stepped into the interview session and started drilling down into that question to say, hey, are you really serious? Are you telling me this and this and this is impossible? This is possible. This is what you did and all that. But eventually we kind of found out that she was telling the truth. Not because I felt like she was lying, but I don't know. I just piqued my interest.
That dimension before?
No, I don't think it was a dimension. I think maybe that was just God's humorous way of ensuring that there was going to be some form of contact. So that was the question. Pretty much my colleagues were silent because I'm not usually like that. So I think after the interview, she had come to me and then she was like, oh, hey, do you have any animosity towards me? Are we fighting? Did you see me in your dream? Why did you go all...
Why violence?
Violent on me and all that. And I was like, honestly, I've only probably seen you just once. This interview wasn't even a personal attack. I was just curious and I wanted to ask some questions just to be sure that this is what we're doing, right? So that was all. And to be honest, I didn't put anything to ask.
Are you sure you're not filling my package then? And you're like, this guy, how Nigerian lecturers would be like, stand up. To get at the back. Stand up.
No, to be very honest, the package was there, but I wasn't seeing it because I kind of went into camp with the intention not to see any package, right? And that's probably another story for another day because there were certain things that really went in. So my mind was, I kind of tuned out anything else. So I think that was why I was able to even ask those questions, because for me it was not like, oh, because you're a fine girl, I'm not asking a question, right? Like what? Or because you're a fine girl, I'm not asking a question. So it was like I was really just asking from a plain mind. There was nothing else to it. So I did go there, and I think that day, and God being humorous as well, when we're leaving the camp, I sat down in the front seat and there was one space left. The other seat, I think it was booked or something. and she was added to that seat. So we kind of like
Since I was that there, though, I did strategically place myself there.
So we sat down for another, I think, 1 hour ride back to our base, and it was me. And to be honest, I was really shy. I could barely count what I even said to you. I'm not sure I said anything, maybe just once or twice, because I was just on my own. I was like, this person is in front. I didn't even try to ask, what's your name? Who are you? I actually thought I was from Big Boy, but me, I was just shy, and I was just trying to mind my lane. So that 1 hour, we probably didn't say anything because, like I said, I tuned out. So I was like, okay.
You always portray yourself as this bad guy.
But that's the thing. I was being a good guy that didn't want to, get into conversations that I wasn't ready for or prepared for.
And I feel like that's like one of the major things. I'm like, who is this guy that is always forming boasts like this? Who broke you? I really just wanted to know, like, are you okay?
I think I'm
like
this personal project.
Yeah, literally, he would finish leading prayer, and people possibly they want to maybe waiting to see him or something. He'll finish. And you think he's not the one that finished leading prayer. He just carry his bag and go to his room. And I'm like, what is going on? What is going on? Why don't you have friends? You talk to people, do you relate with human beings? And the next time you see him, it's probably when he's sneaking out and going for his PPA. Or if we have church program, you come just as they are starting the program and just leave again. What kind of human being are you? You don't have friends? You don't relate with human beings?
Interestingly, I did have friends. Like, I did have friends that I still communicate with even up till today.
But they all relate in their room.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're largely guys, but I think it was just a demand of the season, right? So I just aligned with that demand of the season. Mm-hmm. And what God had as, one of the things in his back pocket was like, there is someone that is part of the demands of the season. So, guy, open your eyes. But I didn't open my eyes. So I think that was largely how I thought we met. That was where the registration started.
Okay.
Right.
So, yeah. So I'm going to go now because there's another video that you should watch after this, which breaks into detail, like how we finally found that we are the one for each other. But for this one, I'll just be brief, so it's not too long. So from my own angle, I didn't see this guy. I didn't even see his radar. I did not even notice anything about him, to be honest, until the interview happened. And when that interview happened, I was like, I don't know you. Why are you asking me a question? Why are you trying to find out if I've been late to meetings before? Why are you even doubting? Which school did you go to that you think that people are always late? Do you understand? So
nice one.
Yenta. Okay, so we met at Benin City, Edo State, actually, and the first point of contact was in Okada camp. That's the orientation camp for NYC. And I remember I was busy with platoon, this and that, and I never wanted to be a part of NCCF. I was a student leader in my university, and based on that, like, I already told God that this is the end. I don't want to serve again in any capacity, leadership capacity again. I don't want it. So when I went to NYSC camp, I had my nails painted black, gold. Like, I wasn't going to any of their meetings, even the interview. Like, I don't know if you mentioned, but I was so super chilled for the interview because I didn't want them to choose me. Say anything they asked, I wasn't even trying to be diplomatic or say, let me answer a question in a certain way so that they will pick me. No, I wasn't interested in the position, so I wasn't doing any of that. And so when I met him during the interview and he was asking me questions and if I've been late to meet him before, and I said no. And where my mind was going to at that point in time is in Covenant University, as a student leader, if service starts by 8, you should be in chapel for a chaplaincy meeting, prayer meeting before the service, at least 15 minutes before. So for me, I've never been late to any of my meetings, even meetings in the my unit, which was the drama unit, even meetings in my unit, every ESCO must be there at least 15 minutes before the meeting because we have a meeting before the meeting. Do you understand? So for me, it felt like as long as my own meeting, I've never been late for it because I have to be there on time. And so that's the angle that I answered from. And it was really, he didn't even ask what dimension, how did you know, like, what do you mean by that? Like, this guy just went in and I'm like, brother, she mommy really? She ti roju mi because she must share ni. She really lójú oorun ni because I don't understand because the way he went in, I'm like, has this guy caught me doing anything before? What's
No,
what is going on?
that was even my second time of like seeing her. So
And I think that was even my own first time. Like, I don't know. I just go to the meetings and I sit at the back because I don't want anybody to see me or notice me. I just want to get out of
yeah,
the
and interestingly, I think after that 1 hour ride back to the camp, that now started another 1 year, ride of just living together without living together, in the sense that we were serving, in different capacities. We weren't dating, we even though we're communicating, but there was nothing attached to it, which is another interesting conversation on its own, because it was I just remember that period where we had to like take a notebook so that we would just put in some stuff. But yeah,
My husband, we had a meeting. Like, we now started talking, like being friends. We will explain like how we got there in our next video. But we had a meeting, like people were thinking that we're dating and we were not. So he had like this thing written. So he said that this is where we are. He made a mark. This is where people think we are. So how do we make people know that this is where we are? And I don't know, that meeting was funny, but we decided that we need to let people know that we're just friends, because that's what we are.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we can only tell people what we are, and what we know we are is left for them to believe it,
Yeah.
So that went on, and yeah.
I think it was very short. It was a short one, but I think what went on was really that living together, serving God, going to camp.
Please,
yeah.
let's explain that living together, because I'm not a fan of people living together before marriage. So we were in a camp called NYC camp, which is Nigerian Christian NCCF camp, Nigerian Christian Corpus Fellowship. So he was a prayer executive, I was a drama executive. So it's like a house
so it's like a big building with demarcation, like an hostel. Yeah. So there was like so in the center we had the church, to the right we had like the female hostel, and to the left we had like the male hostel. So it was kind of like apart.
Yeah.
So largely, so it wasn't like there was
I was
that
staying in the
cohabitation of
hostel.
sorts.
He was staying in the men's hostel. So.
Yeah, so that's a good clarity. But largely that was how we met.
Yeah.
That was how this Ibadan lady and this guy that is from Oyo State but claims Lagos State. Not like I claim Lagos State.
I speak not on this issue.
Lives Lagos State. But yeah, that was how we met. So we have more on this, and we'll talk about it in our next videos, a couple of videos. So this is where we say like, share, subscribe. See you guys.
See you.
Bye.